Me easily reading Kim Kardashian's sidereal and moon chart first house. In the next video I'm doing the fourth house. I honestly don't know why I chose to start with these two houses, but it doesn't matter. Kim's chart is very easy to read, and I have mastered conjunctions, so most birth charts from here on out don't make me confused that much. I'm only getting better as well.
First house.
Sidereal.
Her ascendant is Scorpio Jyeshta Nakshatra, so her personality becomes about that nakshatra.
What I like to do is read the ascendant
as a mixture
with the nakshatra. Jyeshta is about jealousy, administration, the oldest one, and wanting control. I learned a lot about nakshatras from Astro Saxena. Since Jyeshta is about the older sibling, I'm surprised Kim isn't Theodore's sibling, because this nakshatra describes who Kim is as an individual.
Not in the fact that Scorpio is about possessiveness, jealousy, and wanting control.
Since Mars is in her first house and rules her first house, Mars being in the Anuradha nakshatra makes her want to follow her heart's desires. This means Kim wants full control in deciding her appearance. Mars's fights and arguments, so she'll even get into arguments deciding what she wants to wear, how she wants to present herself through her appearance, the hairstyle she wants, which is important, because she'll have stylists especially for Met Gala appearances. Safe to say she won't be an easy client for any stylist. Furthermore, Scorpio is about secrets, hiding stuff, keeping things private. This is basically her personality, what she keeps private, a first house. Things like personality, which means people don't know who Kim truly is despite watching her shows. It could make her want to hide her appearance and wear less revealing clothes. Which is funny, right? Considering she posed for Playboy. I'll explain as the video goes on. If she was to get a tattoo, as we know, the first house represents the skin, so she would actually not get a visible tattoo. I just researched that tattoo part as I typed this.
Additionally, her hiding her appearance can still happen even through makeup. Not many people know this, but Kim has psoriasis. Now you see how she hides her skin.
Anyways, Mars is in the first house. Mars is what we put our energy into doing. Mars is fights, arguments, built up tension. Mars shows what we protect. Mars represents the males we interact with, specifically male siblings, boyfriends, male friends. If she isn't aggressive, strangers anyways will be aggressive towards her due to the seventh house aspect. Obviously, strangers in public will be aggressive to her and shout at her. She isn't afraid to back down from an argument. What's crazy with Mars in the first house? She's the type that can get so angry it would give her a headache, because Mars is bringing the heated energy to her head. Anybody can experience these types of headaches whenever Mars transits their first house. Mars in the first house will make someone be athletic, because Mars is giving its energy to the physical body. People with Mars in the first house tend to hit the gym and work out a lot. I always think bodybuilders have Mars in the first or seventh house. Obviously, Kim isn't the muscular type, but I think she paid attention to staying in shape. Obviously not becoming fat and stuff, because she isn't a BBW model, no pun intended. Her Mars being in Scorpio makes her put energy into researching her physical body. This obviously has something to do with paying attention to her body weight, the psoriasis and stuff. Mars aspect onto the seventh house actually makes a person get married or at least engaged. The bad side is Mars will cause lots of arguments in a marriage and maybe even abuse. Arguments in a marriage lead to what, a divorce, right? Arguments was probably the main reason for lots of her divorces.
This Mars creates a lot of built-up tension with the spouse.
Strangers approach Kim with aggression in public. I don't know if that's the paparazzi or just fans, but Kim can literally be in a food store.
Yet people will tend to shout or cause conflicts with her, even if Kim isn't at fault.
Mars in Scorpio. Anuradha is simple. Scorpio is about sex drive, so she puts energy into having sex appeal. This is where the Playboy or the nude shoots come into play. People with Mars in Scorpio would have high sex drives. Even if they have Saturn in the 12th house, it could be them having energy to constantly masturbate even. Mars in Scorpio will obviously make her research about first house stuff a lot and how it pertains to her, meaning she pays close attention to her appearance.
Mars shows what we protect, so she researches ways on how to protect herself a lot or conceal her identity. This is just her having bodyguards. Mars in Scorpio describes her boyfriends and male siblings like Rob Kardashian. Basically, this Mars makes those people have secretive or controlling personalities. Hence why Rob is so quiet and private about his personal life. Kim would have a secretive relationship with those people and not be seen much with them in public. I remember when Kim was kinda in a relationship with her bodyguard named Shengo. I could play with her Mars and Scorpio placement all day. For example, Scorpio is transformation, so during Mars Antarcticas, like in July 20th, 2017 to December 17th, 2017.
She'll go through a transformation in her body, hair, or change in appearance.
Moon chart. First house.
Things of the first house go into the 7th house where Jupiter is. First house shows where Kim goes or often is, so she obviously has to interact with a lot of strangers, business partners, and is with the spouse a lot. This is actually a fame type of placement because she is interacting with a lot of strangers in public. Jupiter in the 7th house would increase those interactions to the fullest. A person that is well known will obviously have lots of interactions with strangers in public. These are basically her fans. It didn't happen early in her life though. We can see why, because Saturn is conjunct Jupiter. I've explained this conjunction many times, like when I read a girl from Korea's birth chart.
Basically, the optimism and opportunities Jupiter brings, Saturn would limit or delay it early in her life.
She always interacted with strangers, sort of, when she was with Paris, but obviously those people were only interested in Paris Hilton. Saturn restricts the optimism Jupiter brings for the 7th house things. That's why in her Saturn Amtardasha, she and Kanye basically called for a quits. I don't feel like explaining that conjunction, so I'll just focus on Jupiter right quick. Jupiter being in Virgo will make her have a personality that is very criticizing and judgmental. Mainly she would criticize strangers, business partners, and her spouse. In fact, those people would judge her a lot, especially the spouse. Paparazzi comes to mind, and Chris Humphrey. Her first house is Pisces, so she is bringing delusion or lots of overthinking into her marriage life. In her marriages, she would be the one that causes lots of confusion. Jupiter is in Uttara Falguni, so she tries to manage her marriages, spouse and business partners from a perspective where she is always trying to find a problem. Then first house is the body, so her husbands would have judged her appearance a lot. This conjunction in the 7th house guarantees marriage. But lately, I'm noticing Saturn in the 7th house causes for more than one marriage.